Yo, what is up guys, Grim here, and in today's video we're going to be ranking all of the new Atlas passives on the Atlas passive tree. So in total, 11 leagues have seemed to receive some massive changes to their nodes on the Atlas passive tree. They are truly outrageous. It's crazy how much some of these league mechanics have been buffed and the toys they have received. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm going to cover kind of basically a bit of a ranking system here. We're going to go either insane, good, or experimental because, you know, okay, well, maybe it's not the most overpowered immediately, but maybe someone finds something crazy with it later. So those are the three tiers. All right, so we should dive in. Now, the full story isn't just the notables, these big nodes here. Well, no. It's actually the small nodes as well. Some of them are absolutely ridiculous. Apologies if I miss any little changes, but you know, let's dive in. All right, so first up on the chopping block, one of the biggest winners out of all of them, and that is Breach. All right, so we got a ton of new nodes over here. So previously, this section of the tree was basically just like a little area dedicated to, you know, okay, you get a little node here to kind of make it so you get extra Chayula, and you know, you get a node which is going to increase the chance to contain a boss. Well, now we have some brand new juice here. So the stuff over here, we still have the normal gatekeepers node, which gives you the chance at the boss and also the double splinters. And across the board, pretty much all mechanics have received a massive increase to the chance that you can encounter them in maps. A good example of this is that if you take all the ritual nodes and all of the blocking nodes, you can get it up to roughly 60 to 70% right now to encounter a ritual in your maps. And it's pretty much a similar story for most of the mechanics on the tree with the exception of Harvest, I've noticed, and I think Expedition is also a little lower on that totem pole as well. Okay, so that's kind of a blanket rule out of the way. So obviously we got massive chances to encounter more breaches and stuff like that. Now, the old nodes have been replaced with newer, more powerful nodes, which allow you to encounter stuff like Chayula far more frequently. So the thing you're going to do here is obviously just go for Chayula and Ulnatul if you're not using the compass, and it's going to be just great. You're going to get tons more Ulnatul and Chayula. In addition to that, though, there's also some notables here which are completely insane, even if you are using the Chayula compass. And that is that it duplicates the boss when you have Chayula or any of the bosses in your map. This is completely ridiculous because not only do you get double the splinters off these bosses, you're also now going to get double the chance of having all of the boss related activations which come with breach lords. In addition to that, you're also just going to get 40 total splinters off bosses now instead of you know, the normal 20 that you get when you spawn a boss. It's completely crazy. The power of a breach is substantially larger. Obviously you are still just dropping breach stones, you know, which aren't particularly insane, but you know, definitely not too bad there, very strong. All right, in addition to that, we also have the Eve Invasion. This is definitely one of the, you know, kind of experimental nodes. I don't think it's going to be particularly insane. You know, it's obviously one you'll pick up though if you're in the area, but it works out to be about 26% increased chance for a breach, singular breach on average. So it's definitely not too insane. Within Year Grasp has been buffed. Just the node is better now by itself. You have increases chance to contain a boss here on the travel nodes as well. And overall, the fact that you're going to be duplicating all the bosses as well with the other nodes is actually crazy. All the bosses that matter at least. You know, that's definitely a pretty damn insane chance to get like full breach. It's crazy, man. Very nice. Big fan of that one. Over here we have Flash Breach. They've also added a new notable here, and that is Power Struggle. So it's guaranteeing you 2 breach boss class hands in every breach, which is insane, obviously, for like generating Chayula splinters and stuff like that. If you are running the Chayula Sextant, you're going to have so many splinters everywhere. It's pretty nuts, man. Obviously, a ton of chance to get breach, but also there is an additional hand here that you're going to be getting, 2 of them, and also increase quantity of breach splinters in those hands as well. So you're just you're gonna have so many breach stones. It's obscene, man. It's crazy. We also do have another wheel up here, which is going to give you more splinters. Now, I'm not sure if breach bosses count as breach monsters, but if this is the case, that's just going to be so many more splinters, man. 20% more, so that, you know, you're getting 20, and then you're getting 20% more on that, and then you're getting double that. You're going to be dropping like half a breach stone guaranteed per breach. It's crazy if you get the boss. Definitely pretty nuts. Then we've also got increased quantity of the item, of the monsters in the actual breaches, which is very nice. That density is very, very new. Normally it used to be magic monsters. Well, this includes normal monsters, magic monsters, and rares, which is super duper important, obviously, for like stuff like Delirium and all sorts of other, kind of god hunting strategies, maybe. All right, next up we have otherworldly artifacts. So this one was teased on Reddit. It's okay. It's nothing insane. The unique items are pretty underwhelming these days. The only one which I can think of which is particularly crazy is Skin of the Loyal off of Chayula. If this can include like the upgraded items, maybe it's kind of interesting, but I don't think so. And I also don't think this is going to include Ulmatul's Vow, which is off Uber Breaches. But okay, anyway, the main thing you're going to be taking this from is the 0.5 chance to get a Breach Blessing off of rare monsters. So obviously we've been talking about like the density. There's actually another node, which we'll talk about in a second, which guarantees a certain amount of rares. This actually is definitely, potentially worth taking if you are doing a dedicated breach strategy, like Chayula or like Ulmatul. Because, obviously you get the breach blessings, they can be sold, but the main thing is you can upgrade breach stones with these and make them a higher tier, and you can sell those breach stones as pure or enriched or whatever you want to go, probably pure. So that's definitely very nice. Those nodes are not bad. The main ones here that you're going to want though are the density ones and the splinter ones. You're probably just going to come up here just for that. And this is just like, okay, may as well. It's 1 point, may as well take it. Okay, so the other ones we have here is we still have Call of Zeshtula, but now it also has a ton of increased quantity to the breach splinters from pretty much all of the different mechanics from breach. So definitely pretty nice. You'll be taking that as well, given how many breach hands and stuff you can get as well. All right, this is the new, in my opinion, best breach node. It is the Flash Breach 2.0. So basically in the past they nerfed Flash Breach and they're buffing it back, but there's 2 nodes now instead of 1. So this guarantees a certain amount of rare monsters. It's completely insane. Everyone who is juicing with Breach will take this, guaranteed, and it's just really, really good. In addition to that, we still do have the normal pack size stuff here, which is, still pretty nice. Going to give you that extra juice. And then obviously there's also we got, additional Flash Breach juice down here as well, which you're probably going to be picking up as well to increase your speed. And don't forget now, you can open 4 breaches at once, which is completely nuts. All right, next up we have Abyss. This one is definitely pretty interesting, but I still don't think you're going to be farming Abyss for Abyss. It's still just going to be juice for like god hunting, or it's going to be juice for, Delirium from what I've seen. So overall, obviously tons of chance to spawn in Abyss. Underground Kingdoms is the same. We do have, the normal, usual stuff here. Some stuff has been moved around, but we'll get to the new stuff here, which is all the way up here. This big set up here, which is particularly insane. Now, there is a ton of other things which give you pack size and all sorts of stuff like that down below, but I just wanted to talk mainly about these 4 new notables. All right, so there's this one here, which increases the amount of monsters spawned per pit that the Abyss has. So each time it goes and has the big chasm, this baby is going to increase the amount of monsters successfully after that by 10%, which is pretty damn nice. I think overall it's going to be like a 10 or 20% increase in monsters in Abyss. You're definitely going to take it. Obviously you have a ton of cool little nodes here which kind of enhance that effect, which is pretty damn nice. But the main thing is these here, which is basically going to guarantee the amount of pits you're going to get in your Abyss. So right now you can do an Abyss and it can have like 2 pits and it sucks and it's going to be like, oh, that was underwhelming. But now you're able to guarantee how many pits they have. So this one will be like 3 and this one will be like 4. So you'll have total 4 total pits, and it's going to make Abyss a lot more consistent and a lot better. In addition to that, all these small nodes obviously do give you a bunch of juice. Nothing insane. An X% chance to spawn 5 additional rare monsters is definitely nice for God Touch hunting and Delirium. I imagine people are definitely going to be having a lot of juice here with the Abyss stuff. Abyss is going to be top tier for magic finding, juicing, and God Touched and Delirium still, but I don't think you're going to be farming Abyss per se. Now, there is also one other new node over here, which gives you an Abyssal Scarab, but it's a very low chance. But, it'll encourage you to open the Abyssal Troves if you decide to come over here, although it's like 15% Abyss monsters is nice on the travel, but that's what you'd be coming over here for, the 15% increased monsters. Potentially you take this, but it's just a little bit of fun, I think. All right, so that's Abyss. I think it's still very, very much buffed, pretty nice, obviously very good, but I don't think you're going to be farming it per se as a lead mechanic. You're going to be using it as fuel for other strategies. All right. Next up, Expedition. This is one which actually didn't receive that much of a buff. Obviously, the blanket buff to chance to encounter it, but mostly everything is pretty damn similar. across the board, with the exception of the new expedition wheel. Now, this expedition wheel is essentially going to allow you to elect one or many of the masters of like the excavations, which you'd rather see. So the strategy with this is pretty much going to be don't take Gwenin unless it's like month 2, and take the other 3 for early, because those are the money makers. The main thing that you're going to be losing money on is when you get Gwenin early on, because she kind of sucks. But later on, Gwenin might be good, and you may want to like not take Rog. So that's kind of how that's going to go. Obviously get tons more artifacts and expedition reroll currency. Expedition didn't receive too much and is not too insane. It received some extra travel loads over here, which is kind of nice, but overall it's nothing completely groundbreaking or insane. I believe there was one other wheel here which I cannot track down. Let's see if I can find it. Expedition, is this it here? I believe it is, yes. So they did actually add a wheel here which makes expedition easier. If you're someone who was like struggling with it, okay, you can take that, but I don't think anyone's taking this unless they actually were having quite a lot of struggling with it. It's more of a ruthless node there. Ruthless gaming. Let's go. All right. Next up, we have Harvest, similar to Expedition. It didn't really receive anything too insane. It's mainly quality of life in the form of the new cluster of nodes over here, which let you have a control over which type of juice you would like to get from the plants. And it's kind of interesting because it's in reverse. These are basically going to make it so you have a less chance to get the different colors of these nodes instead of more chance, which is pretty damn interesting. And I actually really like this, but you will have to invest quite a lot of points to kind of get this effect. So if you only wanted pink, for example, you'd want to block yellow and blue. And if you only wanted yellow, because people did card yellow, you'd want to block pink and blue as well. That's kind of what you got there, and not too bad there. We also do have doubling season here. I believe this is new as well, and some quantity of life force. Not too bad there. You'll definitely be taking it, but I don't think it's anyone's like going insane over that. The main story here is that you do have a much higher chance of encountering the Sacred Grove in Alkhan Go. You don't need the compass per se, and that will overall make the mechanic much more accessible, which is simply great. And you also do have a higher chance of getting stuff like tier 3 plants from the travel nodes. You guys can check them out yourself. Harvest is pretty much going to be the same though, but you'll have more control over which juice color you're getting. All right, next up, holy moly, the mother of all juice, the buffs that went into Delirium are obscene. It is crazy how much stronger they made Delirium. Where are the nodes? Where are the nodes? Here they are. Okay, these puppies are ridiculous. Let's dive into it. Okay, so the new nodes up here. This one is by far the best. Delirium reward types in your maps gain 1 count on map completion. So basically what this means is that if you leave the map boss until the very last second of the Delirium, you full clear the rest of the map. Let's say you're doing a mirror and you get like 7 reward tiles. You slam that boss when it would normally be impossible to get another tile because of diminishing returns. Well, now bang, instantly another tile. That's how it works, which is obviously a pretty damn big more multiplier. This also works with Delirium mobs, and it's definitely going to make Delirium a lot more worth running, especially if you have this node. It's going to be damn nice. In addition to that, the small nodes here are no joke either. 10% chance increased reward progress is crazy. I have to imagine this stacks as well with the doubling sextant modifier as well. So we're going to be seeing untold levels of Delirium mob triggers this league. It's going to be insane juice, especially combined with all of the Abyss and the Breach stuff that we saw earlier. Pretty damn insane. In addition to that, obviously we do have Screaming Whispers here. This one's alright. Simulacrums are like, not anything crazy. People don't really pay that much for them anymore because there's just so many of them. You will still take it, I imagine. It's definitely not bad to take. I think it's pretty good. All right, in addition to that, we obviously do have this node here as well. Paranoid Fixation, I think this is definitely on the experimentation, kind of section here. It's definitely not, insane. It's okay. It's kind of a bit of fun. People will play around with it, but, if a Delirium mob is 10C and you stack 20 unique monsters into your map, that's 2C, man. And it's definitely not crazy, and 20 unique monsters is no joke to try and get. The cluster jewels are going to be, pretty common, I would imagine, because Delirium is on the map device, so I don't think this node is actually that good. Now, what is good, though, are the nodes leading up to it. Delirium rewards in your maps have 10% increased chance to give Delirium orbs. 25% total. That is just 25% more orbs. I'm going to be taking those anyway. I don't know if, the travel nodes are actually better than the actual notable, which is pretty interesting. But, maybe if it's 1 point, you take it anyway. It's pretty interesting nonetheless. All right, okay, so normally all the notables over here are actually the same. They have actually added, A few changes to the small passives here, which are, pretty good. These ones are all the same. Yeah, I think these are the new ones here, the 16%. Ones here. Yep, these used to be Simulacrum Splinter stack size. So these are all now increasing your chance to get the unique boss, which is, pretty damn good. You're going to get a higher chance at getting Kosis and Onomatopoeia. And that's obviously nice for farming the unique jewels. Synergizes very nicely with Delusions of Persecution. All right, next up, we have massive chances at the Delirium Mirror here. I'm not sure if it goes up to 100% yet. I haven't done that calculation, but it's going to probably be around the 70% mark as well, which is definitely massive for early game and also end game if you want to get some Delirium juice. Obviously, to get all of that is going to be pretty heavy investment, but overall, Delirium has been so insanely buffed. It's crazy. Very, very happy with what I'm seeing here, and I really like the addition of some of the small nodes over here. We have a flat amount of fog as well, but you will notice here that these new nodes here are small nodes. Now, traditionally, Descent into Madness is a really, really good node, and it actually made it way harder and more fun to do Delirium if you had a really big build. Now, they've increased it from 50% faster to 70% faster if you take the nodes, which is really cool. I'm a big fan of that, and they've also made it so that you can slow down the mirror substantially. Actually, it's more than that, 75%. Damn, I didn't even see that. That's crazy, and I'm pretty damn happy with that. All right, so Delirium overall, pretty big buffs. You can do some really cool stuff, and there is some game-changing stuff in there as well because you'll want to do the map boss last. Pretty happy with what I'm seeing from Delirium. Really, really liking the increased access to Delirium mobs as well. That's super duper juicy and nice, very good. All right, moving on. Enough about Delirium. It's looking insane. We have Legion. All right. Okay. My favorite mechanic in the game, Legion. So let's take a look at what we got with Legion. Of course, we have to talk about it. So overall, Legion didn't receive too many new things, but it did get quite a lot of substantial buffs on the small nodes. So overall, you got tons of chance at getting an extra Legion pylon. You're going to be taking all that. Absolutely. You've got your usual stuff here, but they have actually added some juice over here to these small nodes, which is pretty damn nice. I believe the duration is substantially longer now on these small nodes here. Let me take a look. Yep, they are. And this node here is new. Legion Sergeants in your maps have 6% chance to get an additional reward. That's pretty crazy. So we go from 20 to 26%. That's a big, big deal, man. Big deal. Overall, that's pretty damn nice. I believe this duration is also bigger as well now. Yep, they've doubled the duration. So now Legions last way, way longer. So that's a big quality of life thing for people who are a little bit slower at doing the Legions. Should make them a little bit more accessible, which is super duper nice. Very happy about that. Now this is the new kind of cluster here, which obviously does have a whole bunch of emblematic stuff. I think they just actually moved emblematic over there. Yep, they did. Okay, so we'll have to talk about that there. But emblematic is the same, basically. Some extra chance at Legion. You'll be taking that. And they have added an extra wine to Warhorde here, which War Supply, sorry, which is actually really, really fun. So the Warhorde is basically the big chests in the Legion, and they have a little bit of an AoE radius on them, which when you, bam, blow them up, it kind of pops all the monsters around them. Well, you double that AoE radius now, so it's actually going to be easier than ever to shatter full Legions, and that's definitely a very cool thing, especially if you're using a polished Legion Scarab. There's going to be enough Warhordes to really break everything out, and I'm a big fan of that, man. Very big fan. There's a whole bunch of extra Legion Splinter duplication all around the place, which is definitely nice. And overall, that's gonna be pretty damn good. You actually save some points here because you don't actually need to take this with a Gilded Scarab, which is also pretty damn interesting. There is also some new nodes I remember. I just gotta track them down here. Where are they? I swear there was one extra section of Legion nodes which I was definitely pretty interested in about. Oh, well, we can't make the video too much longer. I guess I lost them. But it's fair to say Legion is pretty damn buffed and pretty damn nice. That's right, Constant Battle. We get a pretty nice big node there as well, which you're definitely gonna be taking, and it's definitely pretty juicy. So overall, Legion looking pretty good. There was, I swear, where is it? There's one which make it so Legion Sergeants gain extra rewards, but it's for way more difficulty. Where is it? I remember reading it. There it is, dude. Let's zoom in. Hell yeah. All right, here it is. Yep, Splinter Duplication. Here it is. Logistical Support. Legion monsters in your maps, which have rewards, have 10% chance to gain 2 additional rewards. Crazy, man. And 20% chance for 1 additional reward. But the catch is, monsters with additional rewards have 50% more life per monster kind of reward on them. So when you have 2 rewards, that thing is going to be hella tanky, man. Hella tanky. So cool. In addition to that, the Legion chests have an additional random reward as well. That is basically double loot for Legion chests. Crazy, man. Massive buffs to Legion. Very nice. Very, very nice indeed. I'm pretty happy with that. All right, Beyond actually did receive some changes, and the change is basically that this node here is no longer useless. I can't remember what it did before, but basically now it's a 25% increased quantity of tinted currencies, which is pretty nice. And the small nodes did get replaced with merging radius, I believe. You know, so you can get a whole bunch of merging radius. I believe actually overall you will have a little bit less actually chance of tinted currencies. But you know, overall it's probably just still going to be these two nodes here. I don't really see any chance, any reason to kind of go for anything else, especially with all these new bonkers kind of passes on the tree. So probably, you know, Beyond did get changed, but it's still, you know, kind of in the same situation, which is a little unfortunate. A Heist. All right, Heist. Let's take a look at Heist. So Heist is also one which is in a little bit of a weird situation because what they did was make it so insanely easy to get so many Heist smugglers caches that there's just going to be so many contracts available. It's going to be crazy. So basically the gist of the Heist nodes overall, you guys can take a look because I'm not going to go too much into Heist because it's now going to be super duper specialized. You're not going to take this on every build of Atlas passives anymore. The gist is essentially that you're going to get multiple smugglers caches guaranteed pretty much per map, and overall that's a good thing because you can now influence which contracts come out of them by you know speccing into ones here. So you'll obviously spec into deception as well as maybe perception. I think this is probably the best one. Maybe the finer arts is good as well, but yeah, it's definitely not this one. It's this one or this one or the other. And in addition to that, you can also set the level of challenge you want somewhat by using these two nodes here, which are pretty damn nice. Overall, there's also like things like friends in high places. But if you're looking to sell contracts, the Heist nodes are, kind of a double-edged sword because, it's going to be so easy to get so many contracts that maybe Heist is just like run maps themselves to get their contracts, especially with stuff like this on here. That increases their profits quite substantially. But, overall, I expect like running the Heist stuff to be a more dedicated strategy and selling the contracts to be kind of probably a little bit more difficult because people are just going to have so many of them when they do Heist. So I think gone are the days of actually having Heist on every single kind of like, thing going on here. It's going to be more of a specialized thing. I'm probably not going to recommend it in too many of my Alchon Go stuff anymore because there is just so much more insane stuff that you can do with stuff like Ritual, Expedition, and Delirium mirrors now. I think those are probably far more powerful than taking Heist. So Heist is actually kind of moved into the more specialized category here. You guys can take a look at all the nodes, but it's not like any insane juice is what I'm saying here. But you guys can take a look. It's very, very good. They're pushing Heist into a more deterministic location, and it really does feel like the people who want to do Heist should now be doing and getting their own contracts. That's what it feels like. All right, let's move on. Metamorph. This one is very interesting. So Metamorph is kind of like a bit of a garbage mechanic, let's be honest. It's definitely not very good. Even if you dedicate everything to it, it's kind of not good. But they are trying their best here to make Metamorph quite a bit better. All right, let's go over the notes. Okay, so obviously we have the traditional, make the rewards doubled nodes here and make it harder. That's still here. Find specimens is still pretty much the same, but they have also added 3 nodes here to make them a little bit easier, right? So Metamorphs are slower, and they're also got way less life and damage scaling. So these, I would actually take these if I was doing Metamorph, honestly, because even with Mega Gear, Metamorphs are still pretty spooky, and they're still pretty hard. So maybe people are actually gonna be able to run Metamorph by taking these nodes early. That definitely does seem like something that might happen. Overall, I think, Metamorph should be a little bit easier to do, but that is a whole lot of points to get that stuff. All right, next up, this is the main node which they added for Metamorph, catalyzing fluids. This thing is pretty damn crazy, man. So essentially, you're gonna juice up the amount of catalysts that you get substantially. So if you use 2 unique monsters or 3 unique monsters on a map which has 3 more unique monsters for the different parts, you're basically guaranteed to get an additional catalyst per catalyst reward on that, which is pretty crazy. That can then be duplicated, and you can see how you might get a massive catalyst explosion. There's also a compass for catalyst duplication. So this is definitely pretty insane. It's basically saying double your catalysts in some cases. Obviously, you do drop more catalysts at high tiers, and I'm not sure if this additional catalyst gets scaled by the quantity of the Metamorph itself, but it's still a very good node, and you're going to want to take it. It's definitely very, very nice. Indeed. Okay. Oh, I didn't see that before. 10% chance to have a catalyst rewards. That's definitely pretty nice as well. That's actually an insane node there as well. All right. Then, of course, we do have our usual stuff over here, which, I'm pretty sure is all the same. Yep, that's all the same. And then we also do have massive amounts of chance to encounter Metamorph. And then we also have some new nodes over here. All right, let's get into it. All right, so unethical experiments. This one's a bit interesting. I don't think this is particularly powerful, but it's kind of weird. 1,000% increased experience per 10% of vat filled. So if you fill the entire vat, that's 100%. That's 10,000% increased experience from Metamorphs. That is a substantial amount. I have no idea if this is good for experience farming, but you know, maybe it is. I'm not sure. It's pretty crazy. All right, this one is actually pretty damn interesting. So overall, it's going to give you a massive increased item quantity and rarity buff to your Metamorphs. You know, in a world where, you know, you're dropping tons of catalysts, you know, that is definitely a big buff to Metamorph. This is also a massive node for Metamorph farmers, and you're definitely going to be taking this here. The rarity, you know, okay, maybe it's good, maybe it'll give you a unique or two, but that's nothing too insane. It's mainly the quantity, because that increases the guaranteed rewards, which you really want to see. All right, that's Metamorph, guys. Definitely, it's still going to be in your kind of like the experimental stage. The whole mechanic I'm putting in the experimental stage here, it's not blowing my mind, but you know, I'm definitely going to give it a go, and I think it could be reasonably good because catalysts are kind of a pain. But you know, Delirium did get buffed, and Delirium is actually a better source of catalysts than Metamorph, I'll be honest. So yeah, a little bit, but you know, it's definitely, you know, moving in the right direction. All right, next up, Ritual. Ritual is one that has definitely been buffed quite substantially, but it's not insane. The main buff to Ritual is the fact that you're going to be able to get so many more rituals just from Alch and Go, which is pretty damn nice. Overall, I would expect, you know, Ritual to be not so much a compass strategy anymore and more of an Alch and Go strategy. You just take all the Ritual, you take all the block nodes, and you blast, man. That is probably the way you probably go in, I would say, because there is a bunch of nodes which really do support that. So you get about a 70% chance at getting Ritual, which is pretty nice. Overall, they've increased the quality of life of Ritual, allowing the monsters to spawn faster, which is obviously pretty nice. There's nodes here like increasing the stack size of the Ritual splinters, which is pretty nice. Basically, overall, I would say, you know, Ritual's in a much better place, and it's definitely going to be way more accessible, and that is a really big deal. All the other nodes are, you know, reasonably, you know, kind of similar here. There is nice ones here, like, you know, lowering the deferral costs and stuff like that and making them appear sooner. You know, obviously not game changing. The main thing here is that Ritual is a lot more common, and people are definitely going to run it by virtue of that. Is it top tier for currency making? You know, probably not as top tier as something like the Delirium or the Legion, but you know, it's definitely not too bad. All right, the next one here is Blight, and it's definitely in a bit of a similar situation to you know, some of the other mechanics. It's definitely received some cool new stuff, but it's nothing insane. It's definitely similar to Expedition. It was already good, and they haven't gone too overboard with it. All right, so where is the new nodes here? So this is a new set of nodes here, similar to Expedition. Basically, just makes the mechanic easier, you know, which, you know, is fine, but I don't think anyone's taking that in the end game. And then we also have like massive chance to encounter Blight. I believe this is also new. You know, that's okay, that's fine, but you know, Blight scarabs are pretty damn cheap. I don't think anyone's gonna be taking that in the end game necessarily. It could be pretty good for early on in white map farming though, if you want. And then we also have our all our new old stuff here, all our old stuff. So all the normal stuff is here. I believe there is a few new good small nodes here, but I gotta wrap this video up, man. It's taking too long. And then obviously we do have the normal kind of like stuff here moved around. So if you want the kind of the instilled, the jewelry, you have to come all the way up here now, but you do get an additional chance at a reward of bosses, which is pretty nice. But you know, overall, they have kind of moved a lot of the Blight nodes around. I wouldn't be surprised if for Mega Blight farmers in the end game, they consider it a nerf, but you didn't really have anything that you could actually combine with Blight really too much, so you didn't really need to use your points that much. But overall, there's actually nothing too new here. I believe there is one maybe new node here down here. I cannot remember where is it. Yeah, so additional encounter. I actually don't know if there is any new nodes here. I think it's just the extra chance at Blight, and then also the sturdy constructions here. But the small nodes do really tell the full story. There's a ton more juicy small nodes for Blight, and that really is gonna, you know, kind of make things a little bit better, which is pretty damn nice. Okay, that is all the Atlas passives there, guys. Definitely a bit of a long video, but hopefully you guys enjoyed. This is my lowdown of it, and I'm going to quickly mark it off. Breach, insanely buffed. Abyss, insanely buffed for juicing. Expedition, you know, okay, got some quality of life, but not too crazy. You know, Sacred Grove, quality of life, nothing too insane. Delirium, insanely buffed. Legion, insanely buffed. Beyond, you know, okay, got pretty much the same. Heist, definitely going to be pushed more into that specific category. Nothing, you're probably not going to take this on every single Alchemy Ghost strategy anymore. Metamorph, super experimental, kind of cool, but, probably going to be outshined by other reward tiles on the Delirium orbs. Ritual, super accessible now, very, very nice. Crazy stuff to be able to get that every map almost, and pretty big quality of life stuff. And Blight, pretty much the same. All right, so overall, I'm massively thrilled with the Atlas passive tree. Juicing by the mid-level standard is looking good. You can get access to all the mechanics you like. If you want Expedition, don't want to use the Scarab, well, you're in luck. You can get that pretty damn easy now. Very, very happy to see everything like that. Overall, pretty damn nice. I'll see you guys in the league. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you liked, and dislike if you didn't. Give me some feedback. And until then, cheers.